Welcome to Gab and Jam episode 122.
All right.
And this episode is a little different. We've done something similar to this before, but
that's why I'm not playing any music at the beginning.
That's why he's not playing any music at the beginning.
Right.
This is what we call our Rockstar Rewind Quarantine Edition.
Okay.
And all we wanted to do was share with you. We've made a couple different partnerships during this time, which is really unusual, but again, it's a gift and it's a benefit of us continuing to network even though we're isolated.
Right.
We've been doing social media and interact. We did our first guest live stream interview with Grice Studios.
Yeah.
And they run a rehearsal space, a podcast, and now a live stream virtual coffee house.
Yep. And Ypsilanti.
In Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Yeah.
Shout out to Eric, Rick, and Max.
Yes.
And they feature independent artists and share the creative process. So they asked us to be on it.
Yeah.
What you're going to see below is just a little bit of the hour and a half long interview. We didn't want to put the whole thing, but we'll put the link below in case you do want to see the entire thing.
Yeah. And we'll also have links to the songs that were in there. So
for the videos that are in there.
that are in there. So that you can go right to those videos, you can check them out, so you understand why I'm not playing music
now.
All right, we're live. Hey everybody, welcome to the Sunday edition of Grove Sessions. I'm excited once again for the Prejippie Music Group to come through and talk about all the great things that they're doing. They have a lot of amazing stuff going on, and we're really excited to hear about. One thing that strikes me when I watch you guys and just your music content alone is how much fun you guys seem to be having.
That's the thing.
Is that an accurate statement? Do you guys have fun?
That's the number one thing.
It also seems like you guys really like each other too. So from a professional standpoint, that's probably good too, right?
Right.
So tell us a little bit about that song. I mean,
for me, the foundation for a lot of stuff that we do, I think, really starts with funk. So that was, a huge influence on me kind of growing up. Early on, I was influenced by Sly and the Family Stone. So that's Larry Graham, Louis Johnson, all those great bass players that kind of came up in the 70s. So, a lot of our songs starts off for me with a bass groove. And so, that's similar with that one. And, and a lot of times I think for me with production, I feel like the less I have to do as far as, making tracks sound good, the better or the easier it is for me to produce it. So the first thing I like to start off with is make sure that I can get each track to be as clean as possible. Make sure that you're getting good, tight bass line, guitar lines, everything else, so that then all that separation stuff, it just tends to work itself out a lot easier than trying to correct stuff in the mix. But so for that song, again, it's just really just the funk, it's like, for me, it kind of begins and ends there. And then, you kind of can always throw the rock stuff there. And we're not the first ones to do that. The Isley Brothers, George Clinton, Prince, everybody is kind of mixed together that same concoction. And to me, it's just a winning combination. It always makes me feel good, always makes me feel at home. And, and I know a lot of times that type of funk music, it's kind of like a dinosaur today.
Yeah.
But again, one of the privileges of Rockstar is the fact that, you are your own patron. And so you can say, I'm going to put out the music that I want to hear.
Yep.
I don't know how many other people want to hear it, but
that's not my concern right now.
The main thing is that I'm going to put it out. I love it. And hopefully I'll find other people that also love it.
Yeah,
I love that. And I also love, funk music but being a DIY rock star, how much did you guys actually do, like, as far as the recording process and the mixing and the mastering and the video? How much did you guys do? Is that all you guys?
Yeah,
I'm about to say 100%.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah,
that was our first performance video, so we're learning on the fly.
Yeah, and and that's the thing too. It's sort of like if you go through the catalog of songs that we put out, I would say one thing I'm not is a perfectionist. I probably err on trying to get content out as far as getting it out there in the public, and not necessarily on perfection, because sometimes if you wait for perfection, you'll never get to it.
Yeah, we've done that before.
Yeah, and you'll never get to where you need to be. So sometimes you just have to just take that chance and put something out there. And then grow on the next project.
It's called "Done is the New Perfect." That is my.
I like that. Yeah. So I think that's really good advice. We could all probably find a story in the music business of, the album that took 10 years or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, the longer you kind of wait on stuff, you can always find something that's wrong with it.
Yeah.
A reason to second guess it, and so at some point in time, you just have to say, you know what, I'm just going to put it out. And to the extent that, I've made certain mistakes, I will learn
fix it
from
next
those
time.
mistakes,
Yep.
And, the next one will be even better.
Yep.
So,
Do you ever go back to some of your older content and pull it because you think, well, that's not really what I want to have out there anymore, or do you just kind of let it ride?
I was about to say I was just about to update that video. I just did performance video, and I'm not happy with it. You see, I threw every effect that ever was known to me because I was just learning, and I've done it. I thought about doing it again, but the time just grew short, and I'm like, I'm not gonna put that pressure on myself. We're gonna see all the warts, and we'll just work our way through it.
Yeah,
I think it looked great. And I really appreciate the fact that you guys do everything yourselves and at such a high quality. That's what I've been striving for in my own career for like the past 10 years, but the mixing and mastering and the music and the recording quality, I'm like super impressed with. How long have you guys been doing that?
forever.
Right. When we met in 1986, we were he was recording before I met him, and we were both writing songs, so it started then.
Yeah. I mean, it goes all the way back. We had like the old Tascam cassettes, 4-track cassettes, then moved up from that to the Tascam reel-to-reel TSR8. After that, we had the ADATs, on into, finally switching over to D.I.Ys. Not too long ago, I was using Cakewalk for the PC, and I say about 2013, I switched over to Logic. So that song was done in Logic Pro. And then it's been a lot of trial and error. So it's been a lot of the growth process. And whereas when I was younger, kind of being lazy, doing tracks, knowing good darn well it wasn't sounding the way I wanted it to sound, then trying to fix it in the mix and all the rest of that kind of stuff. I've just learned over time, and really it's been trial and error, and just recut the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the performance that you put forward too, right? And I can definitely hear that. In the music, the performances are spot on. Something I wanted to ask about too. On your YouTube channel, you guys do some unboxings, and you kind of get techie a little bit about some of the gear that you're using. I'm seeing Vox laughing. Bruce, is he the techie one in the pair? Does he geek out with the rest of us?
I always feel like I'm not techie enough. So again, that's about, even though you feel like you have certain deficiencies, that you kind of have to say, forget it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So a lot of times, I do a lot of stuff based on feel, and I don't necessarily know the EQ ranges, where the bass is supposed to fall at in the EQ and where the guitar is supposed to fall at in the EQ range, and technically how that stuff works out. And so I don't know sometimes when I'm doing unboxing if I'm techie enough for that market. but at the same token, it was like either you're going to try to be something you're not, or you're going to be who you are.
Yeah.
And so, people like me buy gear and they want to know about it.
Yep.
And so let's put it out there.
Yep.
Again, it's always about trying to make sure that you're at least just getting your content out there
And being yourself.
and that you're being yourself,
But take us back a little bit to the origin story, because I think people would be curious.
Well, like she was saying before, I was recording at a friend of mine's studio, and I was looking to add some female vocals to the tracks that I was doing. And so I had added a female vocalist to one track, and then I had another track that I had coming up, and I wanted to get a different feel for it. And so a friend of mine brought, Box over to my house. And a friend of mine, he had actually great saxophone player around the city of Detroit by the name of Alan Day.
Yeah, shout out to Alan Day.
Woo-hoo. That's the boy. He brought her by, and and we worked on the song together. We had a couple of telephone conversations.
Yeah. His mom liked me, and he was weirded out by that, but
That's the important part. Mom's got to like you, right?
well, mom doesn't like anybody, so he was like, what is going on? So
that was the unusual part.
yeah.
But yeah, so once we kind of started working together, I started working on a couple of songs that she had written, and then after a while we started kind of collaborating. Where she would write lyrics, I'd write music. We do music, lyrics, all the kind of stuff together, and it just kind of evolved over time. We went through a period of time where we were doing like house and techno music.
Oh boy.
During the 90s.
Yeah.
I think we've always kind of had a bit of that DIY spirit. A lot of it because of the fact you didn't get the record deal.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Quit the music business.
And so a lot of it was never landing that record deal
that wanted us for us. We landed some deals,
right.
but it's when we presented this rap thing and we got signed to this thing, and then we did the house music thing and we released a couple of records, and that was great in the moment, but we couldn't follow it up because that wasn't our heart. So we've had like opportunities, but they weren't the opportunities that let us be us.
Right.
So.
Because that's at the end of the day, that was always the tough part, is that if you're pretending to be something that you're not, it's very difficult, or at least it was very difficult for us to come up with product consistently.
Yeah.
And then, I'd say somewhere in the mid 90s, we kind of just made a commitment that we're going to be ourselves. And I would say probably circa 1999 or so, we worked on an album that was just all bass.
Yeah.
It was, I used like my 78 Fender jazz bass. And we did this album, kind of a jazz album, and we released it on MP3.com.
That's when that was a thing.
Yeah, and we ended up getting an article in Bass Player, and that became the impetus for us starting to look at, maybe there's a way to use the internet to further what we needed to do. But it kind of took us almost 20 years to get to the point where we are now, where we've taken more of a holistic approach to what we do.
I was about to say 4 years ago, our kids were talking about YouTube and how they wanted to be YouTubers. And we were like, that makes no sense. That's not a career. And I know for me, my mom passed suddenly. And after that, I'm like, when are you going to live your dreams? When are you going to do what you want to do? Right. We've been sitting all these years, going to 10, 30 people, hey, can you sign us? And after a while, it's like, you know what? YouTube is there. It's free. You just need to sign up for an account. So do that. And that's kind of how we're like, okay, well, if you do YouTube, you might as well do a podcast. Podcast is nothing but the video stripped out. And then blog, I was always writing anyway. We had a zine before. So we just kind of combined everything. And then with the music licensing, and I've always been releasing music. So now we're just a little bit more, I guess we get it out a lot quicker. We get it to more people, So
There were some things that you learned, whether they be technical or just in terms of, just general attitude and finding your followers, getting people to notice what you guys are putting out.
I realize people don't buy your music, they buy who you are. And I think that's where I was dying to get in the video, and we were trying to get, you know, people to shoot videos for us and all that. And after a while, it's like, okay, just sit in front of the, you know, the camera and figure this out. They buy you, and then they buy your music. We have more people interested in our music now than we ever have. We used to, you know, send out a CD or whatever, and now it's like they want to hear our music because they like who we are. Yeah. They're tuning in every week for whatever, you know. So
you really hit on that. It's that, and then that's something I think I missed a lot when I was younger, is that music is part of a cultural experience that, you know, it's kind of part of our whole cultural fabric. So to kind of think about your music in a vacuum, you can't do that. Mm-hmm. You know, is that people kind of, they attach to like the people who make the music, they're attached to who you are.
Yeah.
And that comes across in the music. And the more you kind of let people see that, the more they have more of a connection to the music. And so especially during this period of time, I think you have more of that opportunity. So like with people doing more of these intimate kind of performances that they're able to do, they're doing it in their houses. And now you're kind of seeing, oh, this is the kind of the way they live. And you feel like you're a little bit more closer to the artist than you were before. So yeah, I mean, it is tough with the live performance part being gone, but I think that's the way that you can kind of tap into something, because now you can have this one-on-one kind of connection with individuals, which you couldn't quite get in that concert set. So
yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
Build community more. Yeah. We never were networkers, quote unquote, because, you know, being introverts and being artists. And now we're starting to learn, like with our Facebook groups, and you know, now we were actually going to conferences like South by Southwest and Gear Fest and things. So we actually are meeting people and enjoying, you know, connecting up with people. And we realized that that's something we never had before. Yeah. So that's another thing that the more you radiate out and we share other people's things, that they want to share our things. Not that we don't ask them in exchange, but it's just more common to see people share our, like the one of the videos that you're going to show has been played on YouTube 600,000 times, and it's mostly from people just sharing it. You know, I mean, people in Brazil and people in Mexico, and like, wow, you know, they're sharing our video. Right. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's amazing. And, you know, I think it speaks a lot to the other part. Obviously, you guys are performers and songwriters, and, you know, you can do this stuff on a technical level, but, you know, I see you putting information out there, you know, that's helpful, that really delivers value to people too, right? Not just for entertainment, but to, you know, kind of be informed and how you think through the industry. Since you mentioned that video, it seems like a good time to play it. What do you think?
Sounds good.
It's so important. Like, consistency is so important with social media, and also just being on those like other social media platforms where not everyone maybe has heard of yet. But the thing is there's so much more reach in those other platforms. If you can, you know, get to a good position, it might be easier for you to get that music out there than Facebook or Instagram, where it's just so flooded with content.
I always assumed with the podcast, I guess I learned from the bloggers too and the podcasters, I always assumed that everybody had an iPhone and that was the worldwide standard. And come to find out that it's not, that, you know, most Americans it's the standard, but across the world it's Android. So starting to get things beyond just the Apple, you know, I guess the things that you're familiar with, like you said, Facebook, Instagram, you know, all the basics, when there are.
Appreciate it.
I was about to say, for platforms, I always say go to your favorite, because that helps most people. But I can tell you, we're on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, Blogger, Pinterest, Bandcamp, Songtrader, Hyped It, Mix, BitChute, LinkedIn, Facebook, Blog Loving, SoundCloud. We have an email list, Vimeo, Medium, Reverb Nation, and 8 Tracks.
You guys are not playing around.
Love to hear that. It's super inspiring.
It really is.
And also, I think, you know, the email list, I love to hear about your guys' email list too, because like we talked about, you know, Facebook, Instagram, all these social media platforms, they're constantly changing the algorithm. It's constantly harder and harder and harder to break through. So having that email list, actually having something that you own, contact information where you can reach out to your fans, that's a game changer. So great to hear that.
And then if people want to have a regular information about how they can build their own, again, the Be the Next DIY Rockstar Facebook group is where we drop, like when I was trying to redo the video, I put anything that I found that was a tutorial that would help you guys make a lyric video the same way we make a lyric video. So the things that we're doing, we share with you guys.
Yeah. It's amazing. I love your sense of the community. And we're super lucky to, be able to get in a room with you guys, a virtual room that is. I really hope that, when some of these orders are lifted and we can once again see each other in person, I hope that you guys will come out to the studio again. We appreciated you sharing your tour of the studio, and would love to have you back in the podcast room and for some other events that we're going to be planning in the future. But really appreciate you guys taking the time today and just sharing with our audience and your audience all the great things you're doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Again.
For sure. Again, Prejippie Music Group, Blooming Prejippie. You can find them on just about every platform in the world.
That was a little of the interview that we live streamed on April 5th during the coronavirus crisis, quarantine. Don't forget, while this craziness is going on, you should be working on developing your online network. And again, that's kind of how we started with Grice Studios. Was we just were interacting with their post and their page online, and eventually when everything closed down, they weren't able to have us in to do a talk.
Right.
So they started their live streaming weekly, and they asked us to be guests. So again, there are things that you can do, and if you're not sure what you can do, check out the previous episode. We give you some ideas. Oh, we also partnered with the Triple Threat artists for the Quarantine Playground Song Challenge.
Yeah, so we're doing things on that too.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been intriguing.
Yeah, and we always kind of looked at Zion from afar, knowing the work that he was doing. So it's really nice to partner with other songwriters.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Online, virtually, in a way that works for us.
And see how, because there's just certain ideas that are thrown out there to say, hey, do a song with just 8-bit or whatever.
8-bit, or we had the one, the kitchen challenge, kitchen sounds.
Sound is right.
Yeah,
to see what different people do with these challenges.
With the same idea.
Challenge and how diverse, the ideas are that come out. So it's really cool.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, and we wanted to invite you to join us in a group of like-minded creative individuals in the Be the Next DIY Rockstar Facebook group. The link is below. What else?
I think that's all I have. You have anything else?
We're working on our funk album.
Yeah,
we're almost done.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about it. So as soon as it's out, you'll be the first to know.
Yeah.
If you dig the vibe, be sure to
subscribe.
We're wishing you love, peace, and
chicken grease.